Hey, and welcome to the Urgent Google Fix step-by-step video tutorial. Now, before we get started here, I just want to ask you, did you read the report above? It gives you some very important information, background information on how and why this script works. And it also tells you why this script is only a part of the big puzzle, even though it is an important one. So if you hadn't read the report above yet, I highly recommend that you read that first and then come back to this video. Alright, so what is the problem? The problem is that there is a major flaw in the way Google tracks and reports bounce rate and time spent on site. Bounce rate and time spent on site in Google is based on the length of time between a user entering your site and their last page view, and that actually leaves two major holes. And if we look at this first example, which I like to call the worst case scenario, what happens here is that a user enters your site and actually spends over 2 minutes reading something on your site and then leaves the page without visiting any further pages. So they come to your site and they only visit one page and read that for 2 minutes. In this case, because the time difference between entering the site and the last page view is 0 because they only see one page, this scenario is recorded as a bounce in Google, and the time spent on site is also recorded as 0, so it drags your bounce rate up and it drags your average time spent on site down, even though this person actually spent over 2 minutes reading something on your site. So that's the what I call the worst case scenario, but that's one of the major problems with this. Another example, this is not quite as bad, but it's still bad. User enters your site and he spends little over 1 minute on a page on your site and then clicks on to the next page. Now what happens here is this will not be recorded as a bounce, but Google will only track that this guy was on your site for a little over 1 minute because that was the time between entering and the last page view before he clicked onto the second site. So even though he in this case also spent over 2 minutes, he only gets recorded as one minute. So even though this is not a bounce, this scenario will still drag your average time spent on site down. Now why is this bad? Well, it's bad because it favors the big portal sites where people always hit the front page and then click onto something. The best example I can give is a newspaper. Like if you go to the New York Times, you usually go to the front page, you'll click on whatever article you want to read, and that tells Google that you're active on the site. It unbounces you and it starts the counting of time and whatnot. And usually on a newspaper you'll click and read multiple articles. So the way Google tracks bounce rate and time spent on site is perfect for a site like New York Times, for example. Unfortunately, I do not run a site like New York Times, and you probably don't either. On blogs, most of our traffic is from long tail keywords to single posts. You are much more likely to rank for a single post for a long tail keyword, usually a headline. And when people find you in the search engines, they find that single post, they click it, they go to it, they read it, and then usually they leave. Hopefully they leave by way of clicking an ad or something on your site going to another site. But the problem there, of course, is that you run into one of the two scenarios I gave before, and you don't get the correct stats, and neither do Google. And as the report explained, bounce rate and time spent on site are among the most important ranking factors because it's what tells Google that your content is something that people actually want to spend time on, and that your content is actually what people search for in the first place. So you want to have as low a bounce rate as possible and as much time spent on site on average as possible. But of course, because we are not like the New York Times, the way Google tracks this, we're already at a disadvantage. But of course there is a solution, and that's why you're here. And what we're going to do is we'll use Google's own event tracking API to create some JavaScript magic. And the code below, when you add that to your site, that will tell Google that a user is still on your site every 10 seconds. So a guy comes to your site and starts reading a post. Every 10 seconds this little script will tell Google that he's still on your site. And what that means is that even if they only visit one page and never click on anything else before leaving the site, as long as they're there for over 10 seconds, they are not counted as a bounce, and the real time they spend on your site will be recorded. So this will lower your bounce rate and increase your average time spent on site, and give yourself a more correct picture of how your user engagement looks. Now, in order for the script to work, you must use Google Analytics. But you should be using Google Analytics anyway. And it doesn't matter if you're using the old or the new tracking codes from Analytics. Unless you have a very old site that you haven't changed for ages, you're probably using the new tracking codes, but it doesn't matter which one you're using. And what I'll do now is show you how to add analytics to a WordPress blog, and how to add the magic JavaScript to your blog as well. And in order to do that, I'm going to leave the slides here and go into my own blog. And this is a test blog I'm setting up here. I haven't done anything on this. I actually just installed WordPress. As you can see, it still has the Mr. WordPress Hello World post down there. But that doesn't matter for what we're going to do now. Now, in order to add analytics to your WordPress blog, you can do it manually. Just grab the tracking code for analytics and put it into your theme, either your header or footer, where you prefer to have it. I find it a lot easier, and it also gives me some extra options to use a plugin for it. And what you want to do is go to plugins and then add new. And there are quite a few analytics plugins here, and you can search on the WordPress plugin site and find a good free one. The one I use is called Google Analyticator, and that has served my purpose for years, and it was recently updated too, and it does the tricks. There might be better ones out there. You may even know a better one. This one works fine for me, so I'm just sticking with that one, and you won't go wrong with it either. So what you do in the search here, you put in Google Analyticator and click on search plugins. Then it comes up here, and it's the first one here, Google Analyticator, and you just want to click on install now and click on OK. And this is now installing the plugin, and you can click on activate it when it's done. And now you have Analyticator installed. Then you need to go into your settings here, find Google Analytics, and head into it. Now you need to give your blog permission to access your Google Analytics account. So, as it says here, you click here, and you click on Allow Access in Google. Then you grab this code, and you go back in here, paste it in there, save and continue. And then you're in here. Then you want to enable the analytics. Choose what account you want. You have to set the account up in Analytics beforehand, obviously, and then select the right one that matches your site you set up, and then you set it in there, and now we're ready to go. Now there's one cool thing, and this is the reason I use this plugin. That is, you can set it so it doesn't track all WordPress users. So if I say no, don't track all users, and then I can say, for example, don't track admin, which is myself. And I find that very handy, that it's not tracking what I do on there. And you can set it to not track other groups too. And then you simply scroll down to, whoops, there it is, save changes. And you now have analytics running on your blog. Now obviously you could have just gone into your theme editor and added analytics manually if you know how to do that, but I find this easier. Plus I can do the whole don't track certain user groups as well. Alright, so that's analytics. Next you want to add the scripts. I've just put it in a text file here, but this script that you want to install is located in the box below this video. In order to add it to your blog, you go into Appearance, which is your themes here, and you go into your editor. And then you want to locate your footer.php file. And then what you're looking for is the closing body tag here, and the script you want to paste in just before the closing body tag. When you put that in here, and that was the script, you copy it from the box below this video, go to your footer PHP, add it just before the ending body tag, and click on update file. And that's it. The script is now running on your site, on your WordPress blog, and ready to do its magic. And remember, you have to have Google Analytics on your blog first. So if you don't have that, do that first, and then do as I just did, putting the script from the box below in your footer PHP just before the closing body tag. Alright, let's head back to the slides and carry on, because there's a few more things I need to tell you, and that is that this will also work on a normal website. This is not just for WordPress blogs. It will work on a normal website as long as you have Google Analytics installed in the site, and as long as you add the code below just before the closing body tag. Now, is this white hat or is it black hat? That's a natural question, especially if you read the report and read how I rant at a few of the black hat solutions and the sleazy marketers. But you don't have to worry. We're using Google's own event tracking API the way they intended for it to be used. And we're simply improving the reporting. We're not making up numbers or doing something wrong. We're simply sending the real live stats to Google about how long time your visitors spend on your site. So there's nothing wrong about it. There's nothing black hat about it. It's totally white hat, and it's using Google's own API. So you can do this without worrying about being Google slapped for it. Is this a magic bullet? Well, yeah, I hesitate to call it a magic bullet. It fixes a big problem, and the bounce rate and time spent on site is a very important factor for ranking. But it does report the real numbers. It does not create pretty numbers out of thin air. So if your stats are really bad in the first place, if people leave your blog within seconds or don't spend time on there because your blog is bad and has bad content, this script is not a magic bullet that fixes this. It will give you the real numbers and will report them in a way so so the real numbers look better than what Google is currently seeing, but it will not fix a bad site. So again, I highly recommend reading a report about to make sure you fit in all the pieces in the puzzle to make your site and your SEO efforts as good as possible. And then of course you also use this script because it is an important factor for your ranking. And our own testings and have been very successful using this script. I've actually used it for quite some time and put it on most of our blogs. And I can guarantee you that you will get more accurate numbers in Google Analytics. That's without a doubt. You will know how much time people spend on the site, and your bounce rate will be more accurate. So you can actually see how many people just instantly leave your page. And because your numbers are more accurate and they're not dependent on the weird thing Google does that actually favors the big sites, your numbers will almost certainly also look better, meaning that your bounce rate will go down and your average time spent on site will go up, and they will look better not only to you but also to Google. And all things being equal, that should lead to a better ranking for you and thus more traffic. And I can tell you from all our tests and all our hundreds of blogs, it has never hurt a site, and we have almost always seen gains from it. And at the very least, we got better information that made us able to act on any problem sites and improve any sites, because now we actually know how much time people spend on there instead of just getting a wrong number and guessing about it. So thanks for watching. The script you want to use is in the box below. Enjoy it and good luck with your sites, and I hope you get some extra traffic and some higher rankings from this. And before you go, I would just like to remind you to please take your time to read the report above and get the full story. watch this video again if you want to review how I did the whole analytics and installing a script thing, and then go put the script on all your blogs and all your other websites. And then I'll also like to remind you that our new Covert Social Press theme is coming soon. And you can again check the report above for details. It tells you a little bit about what Covert Social Press is going to be, what it can do, and so on. And then we will email you a full video preview of the theme on Monday, February 25th, so you can see exactly how it works, what it does, and what it can do for you. And then Covert Social Press goes live on Tuesday, February 26th at 10 a.m. Eastern. And because you're on this list, you will get a special VIP early bird link. So keep an eye on your email inbox on Monday the 25th and Tuesday the 26th of February for first a full video preview and then your special VIP early bird link. So that's it for now. Thanks again for watching, and enjoy the script, and good luck with your sites.